Hello, my name is Uliana Chirkova. I am a member of Synchronized Skating Technical Committee, and I am here to present information to you about the technical updates for the synchronized skating discipline. So let's get started. First of all, I would like to speak about the general changes applicable to all of the elements for the new season 2019-2020. You can find all needed information in the communication 2247, and I'm going to present a summary for the general part. So, in the new communication 2247, you could see that now the maximum level for all the elements, exception for artistic elements and creative element, will be level 4. These changes will be applied to intersection, to move element, and to synchronized spin. With the enlargement of the range of levels, the difficulty of the highest level has been also increased. Some familiar definitions have been also changed. For the ice coverage requirements or restriction, it will be written this way in the document. The main idea for this change is that it doesn't matter the rink size, and teams will not have to adjust their pattern to meet the ice coverage requirements. For the new season, we have introduced the new definition, stationary. Stationary and stopping are now two different definitions. In some elements, stopping is not permitted, while being stationary is permitted. For some elements, both stopping and stationary will be not permitted, and technical panel will reduce and react somehow. Please check specific elements for permitted and unpermitted, stopping and stationary. The changes have been also made to the scale of values for intersection and for the no-hold element. We wanted to give more importance to point of the intersection for the intersection element and to the step sequence in the no-hold element. For example, the base value for no-hold element 2 step 4 will be 5.5, while the base value for the no-hold element 4 step 2 will be only 4 points. The same for the intersection element. Intersection 3 pi 2 is 5 points, and the base value for intersection 2 pi 3 is 5.5. The message to teams and coaches is that it will be more important to work on the point of intersection and step sequence. The changes have also made in the artistic elements, and now let's move towards. We have rearranged the features for this element. The goal was to avoid highlighting as a necessary measure for teams to get the maximum level 2. Now rearranged features give the opportunity to creativity and the possibility to have the element as a feature rather than FM, FE or highlighting. Pivoting element, block and line. On the screen you can see a new chart for the pivoting block levels. This table has corrections that will be made to the communication 2247. There are quite a bit of changes to the lower levels for pivoting block 2 and pivoting block 3. Thus, there are now two options for getting pivoting block level 2. In option A, coaches can use any simple turns, including 3 turns. And in option B, coaches can start to teach difficult turns that will help to prepare a team for the next levels. For pivoting block 3, we have found more balanced requirements. A team has to make 3 different turns, but only 2 of them have to be done as a series of consecutive turns. Summarizing all the changes to the levels of pivoting block, I'd like to say that now the levels are suited to good teaching progression for the teams rather than calling progression. Now let's move to the traveling elements, circle and wheel. Please see the new chart for levels of traveling circle. As you can see, we have added some new options for level 3 and level 4. We will come back to new options a little bit later. And also in the chart, you can see that we have changed the travel distances for traveling circle 1 and 2. For traveling circle 1, a circle must travel 5 meters, and for traveling circle 2, circles must travel at least 10 meters. Let's move on the new options for the traveling circle. The new option for traveling circle level 3 is two side-by-side circles traveling and interlocking. Each circle must travel at least 10 meters while interlocking. You can see the diagram and it's quite clear. Two interlocking circles is also a new option for traveling circle 4. With this feature, two circles have to follow one after another while interlocking. Each circle must cover at least 10 meters while interlocking. For level 4, it is an option named two intersecting circles using different axes. For this option, two circles have to travel and intersect with each other at the same time. There is not a requirement for each skater to intersect. In general, we must see the circles intersect as they pass each other on the diagonal pattern. Traveling wheel. The new changes have affected levels 1, 2, and 4. To get the higher level, a team must execute extra feature skater spokes change places position with another skaters. Also, the new requirements for the traveling wheel is that two travel extra features cannot be executed at the same time. They must be executed one after another with a recognizable traveling. The error not stepping on the circle pattern is not longer exist, and you can see it here. Technical panel will evaluate only the distance of the traveling and if the travel was continuous or not. Thus, the traveling will be considered as ended only when at least a quarter of the team or more have done the following errors listed in the slide. Group lift. The new technical requirements for the feature balancing is that all group lifts must use the same holds to show that it is a balancing position. A focus on the way of support is essential. The lifted skater must be supported at the hands, wrists only, and at the ankle close to their boot. In the photo you can see that the lifted skater is supported at hands, wrists, red arrow, and at the ankles close to top to their boots. And the setter supporting skater may hold the lifted skater with one or both hands. This is an example of another balancing position when the lifted skater is in a middle full split position. Balancing position will be counted if the supporting skaters are approximately in one line. In the picture you can see that skaters are approximately in one line. This is another example of balancing position. Upstairs skaters is holding herself but her own strength. Holding close to the boot is okay, and it will be counted as a balancing position as well. In the flexible position, if using a front split, supporting skaters may support any other part of the lifted skaters, not only ankles, closer to the boot. They can support the knee and upper leg. However, full split must be maintained. The skaters in each group lift for the level must use the same hold. Here is a comparison of balancing and flexible position if using a front split. You can see that the main difference are holds, and the skaters in each group lift for the level must use the same hold. Please note that using a combination of balancing and flexible position when considering the hold is not permitted. If skaters are using different holds, for example, two lifts holding closer to the boot and two lifts holding to upper leg, then the feature will not be counted. Difficult entry. To be counted as a difficult entry, a position of the lifted skater in a pre-group lift must be fixed. This is a new requirement for this new season. If a team is using a difficult entry, then the main position of the group lift must be attained immediately after a pre-group lift. So resting on the shoulders is not permitted in between a difficult entry if using a pre-group lift and lifting to the main position. Let's move to the intersection and point of intersection. We have added level 4 for the intersection element. To get the highest level, a team must execute angled intersection with 8 skaters in each line, plus 1 feature back-to-back. Whip intersection remains level 3. Some changes have been made to the point of intersection in a whip intersection. Now we require that during approach phase, no other rotations are permitted. For PI3, only a maximum of 720 rotation is permitted, and maximum 360 of the required 720 is permitted prior to the axis of intersection, with the exception for 2 fast and skaters in each line. The requirements for the PI rotations have been changed also. A push within a continuous 360 or 720 rotation will not be permitted. And if an error will be made, a technical panel will lower PI by 1 level. Here is the video example of incorrect 360 rotation with a push in between the backward outside 3 turn and forward outside 3 turn. In this video, you will see 2 360 rotations with a push in between the 2 360. This is an example of 1 720 rotation that is executed correctly. And in this video, you can see 1 360 rotation plus 1 720 rotation. Both of them are okay. Move element. This is a new chart for the move element. You can see the changes in red color. For the move element, we have added level 4. Also, there is a new feature. At least half of the team executes an FM that intersects, passes through. Now to get level 4 for move element, teams will have to do a change of position with an FM executed on 1 foot. That means that if a team chooses to make a change of position in a spread eagle, the maximum level of the element will be level 3. Let's move on to the pair element. For the pair element, we have added a new difficulty for the level 4. It is an extra feature. To get the highest level, teams will need to execute a 720 death spiral plus 1 extra feature. Here is a list of new extra features for the pair element. One of them must be selected for level 4. Now let's move to synchronized spin element. We have changed the number of levels and the number of revolutions required for each level of solo spin. For level 2, each skater must execute 6 revolutions on 1 foot, 7 revolutions for level 3, and 8 revolutions for level 4. For the pair spin, the changes are approximately the same. The number of levels and number of required revolutions have been changed. To get level 3, both skaters must rotate minimum 6 revolutions in the required positions. To get level 4, both skaters must rotate minimum 7 revolutions in sit position or camel spin. Twizzle element. Some of the features for Twizzle element have been deleted. 3 leg cross behind above the knee and coupe position, as they have not been used at all during the previous season. Now there are only 2 options in the group B. It's holding or touching the blade, or 3 leg held out. The third Twizzle is the feature, and if executing other features during the third Twizzle, these other features will not be counted. The Twizzle for this feature may enter or exit on 2 feet and is not consideration for +2 increase to the GOE for the exiting on a running edge requirement. With that, I will close the technical update for the season 2019-2020. Do not forget to check the updates on the ISU web page. Spending your time to review this material, I hope it was valuable to you. and thank you for joining us today.